stop. Close your eyes. Imagine there's one person in the world, exactly one, who is your perfect match, your soulmate, the person you're destined to be with. Now, imagine you have to find them. In a world of 8 billion people, without Google, without social media, without any way to know who they are or where they live. What are the odds you ever meet? What happens if you marry the wrong person? What happens to the world when billions of people are searching for someone they may never find? Over the next 6 minutes, I'm taking you through the most heartbreaking thought experiment in human history. Grab your coffee and hold on to your partner, because the math is not romantic. Before we break hearts, let's define what we mean by soulmate. In this scenario, we're not talking about multiple compatible partners. We're talking about exactly one person on Earth who is your perfect match. One person designed by fate or the universe or a cosmic algorithm to be your other half. This is the classic romantic fantasy. Movies, books, songs, they all tell us that somewhere out there, the one is waiting for us. But here's where the fantasy meets reality. There are 8 billion people on Earth. Let's say half are the wrong gender for you. That's 4 billion. Let's say half are too old or too young. That's 2 billion. Let's say half live on the wrong continent. That's 1 billion. Let's say half speak a different language. That's 500 million. Let's say half are already married. That's 250 million. Let's say half are in a different economic class. That's 125 million. Let's say half have incompatible values. That's 62.5 million. After all these filters, your soulmate is still 1 in 62.5 million. That's not terrible odds, right? 1 in 62 million sounds like you could find them with a dating app. But here's the problem. You don't know which one they are. You have no way to identify them. They look like everyone else. They act like everyone else. They could be standing next to you on the subway, and you'd never know. Let me put this in perspective. The number of people you will meet in your lifetime, truly meet, have a conversation with, is about 10,000. Let's say you're lucky. You find your soulmate. You meet them, you fall in love, you get married. Happy ending, right? Wrong. Because what about everyone else? Let's say your soulmate is also someone else's soulmate. That's the definition. One perfect match per person. So if you find yours, you've taken them off the market for everyone else. But here's the problem. Your soulmate, by definition, is also someone else's soulmate. Theirs. So when you marry them, you're not just getting a partner. You're breaking the heart of the person who was meant to be with them. Let me draw this out. Person A is soulmates with person B. Person B is soulmates with person A. That's fine. That's one pair. But person C is soulmates with person D. And person D is soulmates with person C. That's another pair. But what if person A is soulmates with person B, but person B is soulmates with person C, and person C is soulmates with person A? Now you have a love triangle written into the fabric of the universe. This is what mathematicians call a derangement, a permutation where no element is in its original position. In soulmate terms, it means no one ends up with their perfect match. Let's do the math. In a world of 8 billion people, the number of possible perfect match pairings is astronomical. But the number of ways that everyone can end up with their exact soulmate, every single person perfectly paired, is exactly 1. One single configuration out of an almost infinite number of possibilities. The odds that the universe chose that configuration are effectively 0. So in a soulmate universe, almost no one would end up with their perfect match.
most people would end up with someone else's soulmate, or with no one at all. But let's say you beat the odds. You find your soulmate. You marry them. You live happily ever after. What happens to the person who was supposed to be with your soulmate? The one who lost their perfect match because you found them first? They're alone. Forever. Destined to wander the earth, never finding their other half, because their other half is already taken. This is the second heartbreak of the soulmate scenario. Finding your soulmate means condemning someone else to loneliness. But it gets worse.
Let's zoom out. Imagine everyone on Earth knows that soulmates are real. They know there's exactly one person out there for them. They know they have to find that person. What happens to society? First, marriage collapses. Why marry someone if they might not be your soulmate? Why commit to a relationship if your perfect match is still out there? Everyone becomes a searcher. Everyone becomes restless. Everyone becomes perpetually unsatisfied with who they're with. Second, divorce rates skyrocket. Every marriage becomes provisional. Every relationship becomes temporary. People leave their spouses at the slightest hint that their real soulmate might be elsewhere. Third, birth rates plummet. Why have children with someone who isn't your perfect match? Why bring a child into a world where their parents might separate as soon as they find their real partner? Fourth, mental health collapses. Imagine knowing your soulmate is out there, but you'll never find them. Imagine the anxiety of every first date. Is this them? The despair of every breakup. I'll never find them. The loneliness of every night. They're out there and I'm here and we'll never meet. Fifth, society reorganizes around the search. Governments create soulmate registries, DNA databases, global dating networks. People quit their jobs to travel the world, looking for a stranger they may never recognize. Sixth, exploitation emerges. Scammers pretend to be soulmates. Cults form around soulmate detectors. People pay millions for algorithms that promise to find the one. This is not a romantic comedy. This is a dystopian nightmare. But here's the question Randall Munroe asks in his book. What if soulmates were real, but you could only recognize them by a specific physical sign? Like a matching birthmark, or a glowing aura, or a specific pattern on their skin? That's when things get really interesting. Let's say the universe gives us a way to recognize soulmates. A sign, a mark, a glow, something that tells you this is the one. This sounds helpful, right? No more guessing, no more anxiety. You see your soulmate and you just know. But here's the problem. What if your soulmate is on the other side of the world? What if they're in a different country, a different culture, a different life? You'll never see them. You'll never know. What if you see your soulmate, but they're already married? Do you break up their marriage? Do you wait? Do you give up? What if you see your soulmate, but they don't see you? What if they're walking down the street and you're in a car and you only catch a glimpse? You spend the rest of your life searching for a face you barely remember. What if you see your soulmate, but they're 50 years older than you? Or 50 years younger? Or a different gender than you expected? Or a different species? Now, let's make it worse. What if everyone can see the sign? What if every soulmate pair has a matching mark and everyone can see it? Now you're walking down the street and you see a stranger. They have the same mark as you. You know instantly that they're your soulmate. What do? Do you walk up to them? Do you say hello? Do you explain that the universe has decided you belong together? Do you expect them to leave their spouse, their children, their life to be with you? And what if they don't want to? What if they're happy with someone else? Let me offer a different interpretation of the soulmate question. What if your soulmate isn't your romantic partner? What if they're your best friend, your sibling, your parent, your child, your enemy? This is a different kind of thought experiment. What if everyone has one person in the world who perfectly completes them? Not romantically, but existentially. Someone who makes them whole in a way no one else can. Now the question changes. How do you find them? How do you recognize them? What happens if you never meet? This is actually closer to the original philosophical concept of soulmates. Plato's Symposium describes humans as originally having 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces. Zeus split them in half, and now each half spends its life searching for its other half. But Plato didn't specify that the other half was romantic, just that they were your complement, your missing piece. In this version, your soulmate could be anyone. Your boss, your neighbor, the stranger who saves your life, the person who challenges you, infuriates you, pushes you to be better. And here's the beautiful part. You might have already met them. You might already know them. You might have dismissed them as unimportant, when in fact, they're the most important person in your life. This version of the soulmate question isn't about romance. It's about connection. It's about the people who shape us, change us, make us who we are. And the answer to what if soulmates are real becomes something different. Not how do I find them, but have I already found them without realizing? That's a much more hopeful question.
So, after all this math, all this heartbreak, all this speculation, what's the real answer to what if you had a soulmate? The real answer is, it doesn't matter. Because love isn't about destiny. It's about choice. You don't need the universe to tell you who to love. You don't need a sign or a mark or a cosmic algorithm. You just need to find someone who makes you happy, someone who respects you, someone who challenges you, someone who grows with you. And here's the secret. There's not just one person for you. There are thousands, millions, people you could build a life with if you choose to. People who could make you happy if you let them. The soulmate fantasy is beautiful. It's romantic. It's sold millions of movies and books and songs. But it's also a trap. It makes people feel like they failed if they haven't found the one. It makes people leave good relationships because they're searching for perfect. It makes people lonely in a world full of potential partners. So here's my advice. Stop searching for your soulmate. Start building a relationship with someone who chooses you and whom you choose. Because choice is more powerful than destiny. And love is more real when it's earned. That's the truth behind the what if. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit the bell. And don't forget to tell me in the comments, do you believe in soulmates? Or do you think love is about choice? See you in the next video. Keep loving.